breaking news. Brandy?
What?
Justice for All has located Jose.
Yes. After weeks and weeks of trying to find him. It might only be days, but that's how they acted. It was a while.
I give you some props there, Justice for All. You found him.
Yep. You sure did.
They found him. And you interviewed the hell out of him, because that live I seen was hours, and I didn't make it to the end. I'd seen all I needed to know.
Yeah.
He had pretty much answered everything I would have asked him.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Either Jose could double for Alice on the Brady Bunch, or he's full of it. Right?
Yep.
Jose said he was at the Wells property for 6 months. And he tells some stories.
Oh, yeah.
Jose basically says, like, when it come to cooking, cleaning, anything like that, it's like he was teaching starting fire to the Neanderthal or some shit like that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, he was showing them how to cook, and they was all just like...
Well, Grandma and...
Like, he went over and fired up the stove, and they was like...
What?
That's what that does?
Wow.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
I think Jose's full of shit.
Do you?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
I believe some of the more serious stuff he talked about, but I believe Jose made himself look as good as he possibly could and still explain being there 6 months.
Yeah, he put a little sugar on top of the story, I think.
Don't get me wrong. I believe there are truths in Jose's statement. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah, I do too.
But Jose, you made it out like you was up for Man of the Year, dude.
Yeah.
You got carried away quite a bit.
My biggest problem, you're there the whole time seeing what's going on. You don't call anybody. You know, the kids are getting mistreated. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I couldn't watch that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I definitely couldn't live in all that.
No.
He talked about, like, one of the boys feeding the dogs, right? And he would scoop up the dog food out of the bag, and by the time that took him, there would be roaches crawling up his arm.
Ugh. That's awful.
I'd have bought me a frickin' tent and slept outside. But no, you know which room Jose slept in?
The playroom.
The playroom. The playroom was in Jose's bedroom. Ain't that wild?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Just so odd. Like, if shit couldn't get any odder, you throw Jose into the mix of this story and it just got odder. Didn't it?
Yeah.
And he tells it just like Jody Sue tells it, just like Allie tells it, just like they all tell it. Don and Candace were trash, and I was the only good thing they had going around them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Same old bullshit. That's why I take a lot of it with a filter. So at the beginning it tells, you know, Jose's the missing link to this side of the story. And it tells everybody there, don't be mean.
Be respectful.
Be respectful. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Y'all run a tight ship. I'm all about it. If you ever go to JDTC Live, you won't even see it.
Mm-mm.
You have to tell people. They're just like, yeah, we're cool, we're smart, we got some sense. We don't act like that.
Yeah, our subscribers are the best.
Anyway, moving forward, Jose then tells us about his absence that Jose was having mental problems.
Right.
He had been going through a divorce, right?
Yep.
That's why he kind of left New York, was to get away from that environment, right?
Correct, yep.
So he decided he was going to Tennessee. Went with some buddies. Their house fell through. They was like, oh, hell with this. I'm going back. Jose was like, not me.
I'm going to stay here.
I'm going to stay and rent a room off this nice woman, Candace.
That he just met.
Just met her today. I'm going to rent a room there. And when they show me the room, I'm going to be like, why in the hell is there all these toys in my room? And they're going to be like, because it's the kids' playroom. And he's going to be like, okay, sounds cool.
I don't know if I would rather live outside in a tent, like you were saying, in there, that house.
In the basement, too.
Kenneth probably hyped it up. It's a nice room,
Where do you see it?
nice windows.
I'd have been like, I ain't gonna head to the shelter. Where's the closest homeless shelter? I ain't fighting roaches to that level. And he gives the house a lot of help.
Yeah.
He acted like there was a severe roach problem,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Clothes everywhere, dishes everywhere.
Said dishes look like they hadn't been done in weeks. All that.
The lawn grew up like a foot or two.
Yeah.
Snakes, bees everywhere.
Yeah. Said he mowed the grass. He's the reason
Yeah.
that it got mowed.
And the kids had somewhere to play, which that's good.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing something.
Like I said, he was there 6 months. I don't think anybody realized he was there that long.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well, Don was in Utah for apparently 5 of them because he
Right.
said he was there another month after Don got home.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So when he was living there, though, at the beginning, it was Candace, Mom, the 2 boys, and Summer. Because remember, this is why Don's in Utah. One of the boys is with Don.
Right.
Checks out. Right?
Yep. That's right.
Jose basically said he was the player of Ben Hill. He was the beef of Ben Hill.
Oh, yeah. He might have been. There's not much to choose from up there.
Can't
on that
really
hill.
judge it because we only heard his voice.
Yeah.
He sounded like, I don't know, you give him 6.5, 7
Yeah.
tops. Then he talks about the disgusting dishes, the roaches, and he sees that the toilet,
There's no bathroom, no walls.
there's no bathroom. If you're inside the front door, you're in the bathroom.
Yeah. There was no doors except, I think he said one in the whole house.
I didn't know. I never knew that. And he says it was like, I wrote down the order, I think.
They stacked up dressers to make the walls.
They stacked up 2 dressers, like you put your clothes in, dressers, stacked one on top of another one. And I guess that made you like a stall,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And there was the toilet, the sink, and the shower.
Right.
All along that area right there. So technically, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's awful.
There's no privacy in that. Said he slept in the cellar. He talked about how crazy the staircase was. Yeah, we seen that shit. It looks gangster. There's no doubt about that. Like it was he called it the hidden
Door.
cellar
Oh.
entrance.
Yeah. Wouldn't y'all run when you go in a house, you're renting a room, and you see that
See
shit?
some shit like that. How do I get to my room? Oh, well, let's move some desks and bookcases.
I'd be scared what's
I'd be like, no, man, I'm good. I'll take your word for it. Let me just haul ass to my car. I'll be right
I
back.
couldn't do it. I couldn't do
Even
it.
if I was on foot, I'd have walked out of that shit. That's got Texas Chainsaw Massacre written all over it.
Yeah.
Now, he says downstairs, where the basement door was, there was a couch that stayed there. Blocked it from opening.
Yeah. This is important.
That's very interesting, right?
Right.
Now, that's the truth. That's really interesting. Because that means someone would have had to move the couch and everything else to get outside in 2 minutes and nobody heard her.
Well,
Right?
yeah, he said it was there because Summer got out all the time and the door didn't have a lock on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he made it out like Summer could go out the front door, the basement. It didn't matter.
They had free range, like we were saying.
Yeah, like they were free-range kids pretty much.
Yeah, they could do whatever.
He said he'd get up in the morning and Summer'd be outside, everybody else asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like 7:30 and Summer was out there on her swing.
Yep.
So we all knew that though, kinda, didn't we?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was already there,
We've
but
already talked about it in other videos.
Jose, I believe that was the truth. I'm gonna give you a point for that.
Yeah, that was truthful.
Now he said when he was there, everybody watches TV downstairs in like that big open area, which at the time they were calling Dawn and Candace's room,
Right.
right? And he mentioned some wild stuff about what went on down there. He said the playroom downstairs was in his room.
Right.
So that's crazy. He didn't have a door.
Right.
He said there was only one door inside.
Right.
And that was like, he made it out like it's a little, what we here call it a mud room.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little bitty room before you go into the rest of the house. It's like where
Take
people
off
take
your
off their
shoes
shoes and stuff like that. Said it was a deal like that, and they would, the door on it didn't lock either. I don't think no door on the house locked, right?
Mm-mm.
Ain't that what he said? He made it out like the basement there was a gap or something crazy.
I thought that door did because he put the kids in there when they were misbehaving.
He said Don dropped a ton of F-bombs. Said Don just cussed like a sailor.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Said never heard none of the gods speak when he was there.
No. He's a good actor.
Said he loved the F-bomb.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So Don's got a potty mouth too. I tell you, he hides it pretty well. I don't see him just going off, you know. No. He can't hang with Jody Sue, I'll tell you that.
Oh. He can turn it off and on, it seems.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, except when he's drunk. If he's drunk on the live, you're going to hear some cuss words.
Yeah.
But most of the time, he does all right. He's pretty deceptive.
Mm-hmm.
They asked him about Don in church. He said never.
He never went.
Never. He said Don would have him some beer on the way home. Time he got home, he was smashed.
Yeah.
Said he would go to the dollar store on the way home to buy dollar food. He acted like whatever you go into the dollar store and get for $1, that's what Don was feeding the kids every day. Like they never had a lot of groceries or nothing like that.
Candace never cooked, or nobody really cooked dinner. They had ding-dongs and Twinkies and chips and stuff like that.
Like I said, he acted like when he was showing them stuff, because apparently he did the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the vacuuming, the whole nine. Because they had blown away by all this.
Kids probably never had that, in their life. They probably thought it was good. If he did do it, I'm sure he did it. I just don't know how much.
Yeah, I don't. He lived there for 6 months, okay? I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know?
Yeah.
With roaches like that, they didn't do nothing to fix that. So he probably lived in that for 6 months too.
Yeah. How do you keep food? I wonder, that would be hard to keep food and have roaches everywhere.
Maybe that's why there was Don would bring home $1 dinner, and that's all the food they have. Because you couldn't keep the roaches out of it. I mean, we're going on what Jose said.
I know.
Jose said, like, when the kid fed the dog, roaches was up his arm before he got the cup out.
Wow.
And he said they fed the dogs by getting it in a cup and flinging it out like you're feeding chickens. 2 cups, 1 time a day.
2 cups?
He said 2 scoops, and he made it out like it was a regular cup.
That's not good. All those dogs.
All those dogs. And then they're having to weed it out like chicken feed. They won't even put it in a bowl for them. He said they got like 1 shot at water. If they knocked the water over, that's all they got that day. All them dogs.
And they're probably fighting, over the food.
Probably. And that's probably, Don's probably right. Probably occasionally they did chase animals because they was frickin' starving trying to get dinner, I would say. If you're splitting 2 cups of dog food on the ground once a day between how many, the little ones ain't getting shit if there's bigger ones.
I'm sorry, I can't do animals like that.
No, I can't either. He said the boys wasn't allowed to eat anything till after their homework was done. That I was thinking, I don't know. My only problem with that is Don and Candace don't seem like the type to stress the grades and that. But if they did, what do you know? That's one good idea they had, except you shouldn't punish them by not letting them eat.
Right.
But you should want them to do their homework.
Right.
And he said, that was the rule. no food till after you get home. My kids, when they come home, they're starving. Because lunch is like 4 hours before they get out of school. And, you know, a kid, 4 hours, that's like 1 week.
Yeah. They always have them a snack.
Now, I tell you what, Jose really, in this interview, kissed Allie's ass.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that too.
Now, if it was genuine, then Allie is a lot better than we recognized.
Yeah.
Because he does say that Allie bought them tons of food.
Right. Yeah.
And he generally doesn't say anything bad about her that I seen. Except that, you know, they only hooked up once because he got ripped. I was like, man, I wouldn't have told that shit on no live.
No, I wouldn't either.
No, man, never.
It happens, you know, but...
Yeah, it happens, but you ain't got to tell a bunch of people on the live. I'd have kept that one to myself.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You dropped the ball there. Right?
Yeah. Come clean on that for sure.
He said Dawn was no help around the house. Didn't know how to run a vacuum cleaner, couldn't wash dishes, didn't do nothing. Dawn just went to work, come home, drank, and that was it.
I see that. That's how I pictured them, actually. How about you?
I can see that.
Yeah. I don't see Candace doing a lot of housework either.
But you know, if dude's working all day, he shouldn't have to come home and clean house.
Whatever.
When there's 5 people living there, Jose, Candace, Grandis, the only dude going to work should come home and clean house? No, he shouldn't.
I take that back, yeah. I agree. He shouldn't have to do much. If he's making the money and paying the bills, yeah, they should keep it clean.
And I, you know, when he said that, I was like, well, he shouldn't have had to do nothing because, according to you, Jose, Alice ain't got shit on you. You
It's
all
clean.
over it.
Yeah. Clean, clean, clean.
Moving forward. He said on payday, Dawn would get paid and he would fill the fridge with dollar food, beer, and liquor.
Wow.
Ugh. Beer and liquor.
Poor
He acted like, he told like they drank a lot too, but he made it out like he's, as far as I've heard, he went harder on Dawn than anybody so far.
I agree. He don't like Dawn.
He don't like Dawn's ass. Now, he wants to give you the impression he punked Dawn quite a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Can I verify or deny? No. But he said Dawn's a big old guy and he's a little
shorter. He's short, but he's built or broad or however he said it. There's a word he used.
Badass? I don't know. It's the feeling I got he was trying to put across.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. You know, he made himself sound really good.
Yeah.
Many times.
That's where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Stick to the story and we might believe you like the actual realistic story.
Right, right. And, you know, there were people in this live. Thank God Summer's hero is here, Jose. And I was like, he's basically telling us shit we already suspected or knew. You know, and he's talked to the FBI a while back. Now, he says after his chat with the FBI, he didn't realize this was a big deal.
No, never been on YouTube, never listened to any videos.
If FBI questions you about something like that, wouldn't you Google it?
I would. That's the first thing I would do.
Wouldn't you be like, hey, FBI, why are you asking me shit about that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
He acted like he got questioned by the FBI and didn't think about it again.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day he was like, somebody contacted him. Justice for All contacted him.
Justice for All, yep.
And then he seen it on YouTube and was like, what?
Oh, yes, what?
I tell you what, though, he made it out like it was just a day before that interview was recorded or whatever.
That's how I got it.
And damn, he caught up fast. He must have binge watched the last 8 months last night because he knew about a lot of videos and different things.
Yeah.
I questioned that. Everybody else was like, yeah, that sounds normal. You know, that just didn't make sense to me at all. I ain't getting questioned by the FBI and not going to look further into that. Are you?
No. And he's like you were saying, all the comments were nice, like, you're the lifesaver and stuff like that. No,
Yeah.
not really.
Not really.
You let all
no.
that shit go on.
All that shit happened, and
You didn't do anything.
didn't change.
Just like Jody Sue didn't do anything.
Well,
Here's another one. Didn't do anything.
Yeah. So he's telling his story, which good for him if it's true, because it does give you a better idea. But really, 90% of it, if you'd have asked me, I could have told you. Really. And it just felt to me like he was way too hard trying to play himself up.
Yeah.
Because now, mind you, he tells us he's divorced, right? He's having a mental breakdown at this time. But yet he's running around cleaning for everybody, doing laundry, working it all out, and being the example. I don't believe that, man. I'm sorry. Nobody living a nice, clean lifestyle would pay to live in that room down there with all this shit going on.
No.
Unless you're pretty shady yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I'm not going to say a lot of what he said wasn't true.
Yep.
Because the stuff about Dawn, and he's number 2 to mention, Dawn was in the shower with Summer.
Yuck.
And the boys.
Yuck.
I find all that crazy.
Yeah.
Not just Summer, the boys too.
And they about got in a fight about it because he talked to Dawn about it. Remember?
Yeah.
They about got in a fight.
Yeah, he said he told Dawn, no more of that shit on my watch.
No. And then he didn't do anymore.
And Dawn was like, okay, all right, I'll quit. I don't know about that shit. You know, come on.
That's nasty.
Said he spoke to Dawn numerous times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You stayed there for a month after Dawn got back. That blew my mind. I can't believe Dawn was cool with that shit. You know, that proves something else to me. Dawn ain't the alpha people say he is. Because ain't no damn alpha controller letting that dude live in his house. You know?
Right. The only way that would happen is him giving them money. Probably a pretty decent amount, maybe.
He'd have to be giving them a lot.
Yeah.
For Dawn's ego to be able to put up with that. Or, you know, there was the gay rumor. And I'm going to tell you, listening to Jose talk, he says he's perfectly straight, is what he says.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just leave it there. He said each night it was hammered by 8:30. Then had him a bottle, knocked it out.
Every night.
Every night. Now, think about how that would be for you. Where you're staying at, these people every night get just smashed off a bottle of liquor.
Just think how it is for the kids.
Yeah.
A little 5-year-old wanting a drink or something, can't even get mom to go to the freaking fridge or need help with something, you know?
No.
Just think when she was a baby, needing her diaper changes and stuff, she probably didn't get that done either.
If that's true, man, you gotta wonder how they've made it as long as they did.
Yeah.
You know, no adult in the house that wasn't smashed after 8:30.
Wow.
You know?
And the boys are old enough to see it going on and been aware of it, you know?
They did a lot of taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
By the way it's told.
Yeah, I feel bad for the boys. And Summer.
So, he says after Dawn had been home about a week, Dawn starts there all the time with Candace. Been sleeping with Jose. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Dawn made it a week without his ego getting bruised. It's not very long.
Yeah.
So, if that's the truth, then for 3 weeks he stayed after Dawn started that shit. So, that would have been a rough 3 weeks, wouldn't it? Constantly listening to dude and his wife fight about you're trying to sleep with him. That would have been a hella uncomfortable, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'd be trying to get out of there.
I couldn't sleep in the house of a man who was accusing his wife of sleeping with me.
No.
How could you sleep?
I wouldn't. I couldn't.
No.
I'd be calling Allie up. Allie,
Mm.
you got a room?
I don't know. I think I'd take my chances with Dawn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Said the kids slept on the couches and the floor.
Poor babies.
Said Dawn and Candace had a big case of blaming the conditions of the house on each other. I could see that.
Yeah.
Dawn be like, I work all day and this house is a wreck. And her be like, I raise kids and
You
I
don't
ain't
give me
doing
enough
shit.
money to
You
do
don't give me enough
anything.
money. Yeah, I could see that.
It's both of their faults.
So they were always fighting over Jose.
Jose.
Says the night police came, Jose was half asleep.
You got
He
woke up.
hears loud banging thump. Says he goes upstairs.
Candace on Dawn beat them.
Candace is on top of Dawn, just whooping that ass. I told y'all, I said, I think if shit hit the fan, Candace could take it.
I think she just got so mad and, you know, beat his butt up.
Said he heard Candace scream, you ain't never putting your hands on me.
Yeah.
Good for you, Candace, if that's true, because I think
No
men
man.
who hit women are trash.
Yeah, I agree.
So
No man should hit a hand on him.
that's what Jose said happened, but I tell y'all, man, Jose, I just don't see how people just take everything somebody says at face value. Everybody was like, oh, thank God you did that, Jose. Oh, thank bless you, Jose, for doing this. You know, come on, man. You got to be a little iffy about some of this.
I'm like that. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard not to think, you know, good about somebody, but you really got to think about it.
Jose told Dawn he had no say-so in what was going on about some certain stuff in his house. He said something weird, too. He was like, well, if Dawn and Summer were so close, Dawn should have took Summer with him to Utah.
Yeah, I thought it was weird, too.
He made it out like Dawn's trip to Utah was more of Dawn leaving everybody behind and, like, that was going to be the end of it. And he made it out like Candace was getting ready to move herself. He said there was stuff in boxes.
Yeah.
That was probably stuff she hadn't had time to unpack yet.
Probably.
Only been there 11
Dawn didn't
years.
give her any money. She didn't have no money. Had to call beg for money.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. He says, now this was bad, that Dawn had cheated on Candace with a woman upstairs in the room his sons were sleeping in.
While she was downstairs sleeping.
Yeah. He says Dawn, the night the shit went down and Dawn went to jail, Dawn hurled a beer bottle at him and chipped his tooth.
Right.
Then he said that's when shit really hit the fan.
Yeah.
But the basic end of the story is the only time anything was exchanged was Dawn hitting him with the beer bottle.
Yeah.
They talked a little shit, and that was basically the end of it. And you know, he says he told that story to the cops too, but they didn't want to charge Dawn for that. Told him they didn't see no injury. So apparently, he's saying he showed them his chipped tooth, and they're like, I don't see anything. Looks fine to me.
They called Dawn a coherent drunk. Remember?
Yeah.
That some drunks are just like that.
Yeah. Said Dawn aced the sobriety test.
He must be that good at it.
Well, they gave him a breathalyzer. He didn't say nothing about a breathalyzer. He said they gave him like the field sobriety, and Dawn schooled it. Because his ass could have got him a DUI that night. Right?
Yep.
And he also says that it wasn't a black powder gun that Dawn had in the glove box. He said it was, he called it a Dellinger or something like that, but I think he meant a Derringer. They're these little bitty handguns. My grandma packed one. Holds 2 shots.
Yep.
Oh, it'll hurt you. He said that's what it was. Now, if that's what it was, if Dawn had a felony at that time, which I think he did,
Yeah, he did.
that would have been felon in possession of a firearm, and that shit I thought was really serious.
They did arrest him.
So apparently something ain't jiving there. Either Jose's fibbing, or it's another case of Hawkins County being soft on crime.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
He got like 7 days and he was out.
Yeah, 7 days for that. But I'm pretty confident Candace dropped it anyway.
Yeah, Candace rat him out or he probably wouldn't have been arrested. When she realized that he wasn't getting arrested that night, she told him that he had a gun in his vehicle.
Yeah, Candace made sure his ass went to jail. She's the one that told him about the gun.
And went out and took a protective order against him.
Yeah, and after Candace went and got her protective order against Dawn, Jose took him to McDonald's. He said he remembers it like it was yesterday. Poor Candace. I bet she think dude won't take you nowhere but McDonald's. That's where her and Donnie's first date was. That's where she went after her protective order.
There's nothing wrong with McDonald's, but...
No. Nothing. I was there just the other day.
She could at least got Wendy's, maybe.
Yeah, I know she is. He said the night the shit went down, the cops was there in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. That's a lot tighter response time than they said happened on Summer's thing.
Yeah. It was.
Said that H's first time was with Candace.
Nasty.
God.
That's not okay. Just because she's a lady, a woman.
Hell no, it ain't okay.
And
apparently, by his math, it was 14.
Just think if that was a guy and a girl that age.
Oh. There wouldn't be no questions about are they in jail yet, I'll tell you that.
I know. So I don't think that's right at all.
He basically said Dawn's a sexist control freak. He had a lot to say about Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Said knows Dawn had affairs. He's admitted them, constantly having affairs. Dawn would blame alcohol for everything that happened to him. That's interesting he says that because, he does do that.
Yeah.
Because he blamed the prank call and other stuff he had said on drinking.
It's not drinking, it's on you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, when you're always drinking, I guess you can blame about everything on it, right? Said he had never met Sherfy Jr., which I kind of thought that was just noise to cloud shit up. Especially when Dawn started being all into it, you know? When Dawn started acting like he thought it was something up, I was like, here's another wild goose chase. He said the Candace on the live streams ain't the Candace he once knew.
Yeah.
It was so weird. He told all this stuff about Candace, examples of her being a bad mother and different stuff. Act like she was amazed by cooking technology and everything else. And then he goes on to act like she was a pretty good person.
Yeah. Candace, why are you doing this? Come on.
Yeah, it was really creepy. He did a part where he was like talking to her, except, you know, it was weird. And he was talking, what was he saying?
Come out and say what happened, like...
He said the Candace that we're seeing right now on the lives and stuff, that's not Candace.
No.
He puts it all down to where she's, you know, got away from all Dawn's oppression and all that. That's why things are like they are. He acts like a social justice warrior type to me.
Yeah.
Because he admits kind of never doing anything bad.
Yeah.
But he points out tons of shit that they did bad. Like I've said a million times, you are the company you keep. Don't act like you wasn't there doing any of that shit with them.
I agree.
Buy it.
Yeah. Why would you put up with that?
Exactly.
Unless you're getting something out of it.
Exactly.
That's how I think. You know?
He's seen a lot of the same shit the rest of them did, and nothing got done about it. So he told some stuff about Summer. He said that pic of her leaning on the milk is the nicest clothes he'd ever seen her have on. He said Summer hated clothes. She was always in her PJs running around outside.
And she's run away some, like all the way to a different house and across, almost to the road.
Yeah, he said Summer would sleep against anything, and like he didn't think much of the pic. He didn't think it was out of character. That's what he said. That's interesting if that's the truth, because that makes you think maybe it's not as vicious as we think it is. I'm not saying that's the case, but
makes you think.
If he's being honest there, that makes you think it's more logical than you did before.
Yeah.
He said Dawn had borrowed a red truck with ladder racks in it and drove it 2 or 3 times.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that.
Yes,
I
that's,
didn't hear that.
yeah.
I missed that part.
That's really interesting.
I was wondering maybe the FBI and them, they got that from him, but no. He's saying, when did they initially talk to him, I wonder?
He wasn't specific.
Huh. Makes you wonder.
But that's what he said.
Wow. Wonder whose truck it was.
He said he didn't specify whose truck it was, but he said it was somebody who would let Don borrow it if he went on long runs. He also said the dogs would chew up anybody's ass who stepped on that property that was a stranger.
Yeah.
And he says Summer had a set of lungs on her and she could scream. And if it would have been a stranger, she would have screamed.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have heard her.
The dog.
He said one time Hunter would give Summer a kitten. Dawn took the kitten and threw it out to the dogs, and the dogs just ripped it apart in front of Summer.
Yeah, because she had it in the house, and he didn't want the cat in the house. That's sad.
If there is any way we could get that proven, his ass would go to jail for that.
Animal cruelty.
You damn right. I thought that was horrible. If that part's true, then...
And Summer loved that little kitty.
Yeah, he acted like Summer loved the kitten. She took it everywhere with her.
Yeah.
Always had it.
Mm-hmm. It's awful.
And it's probably true. That's the horrible thing about this. It probably is. I could see that.
Yeah.
He said Candace got all their shots and required health care. She'd keep it up to date. Which makes no sense when he's saying she's the worst housekeeper in the world and she never does nothing. It's not one of them things. He answered weird, I thought. You know? Said Allie one time spent $300 on food for Candace. Bought dog food, the whole nine. Said Allie really loves Summer. He didn't have nothing negative to say about Allie, really. Said he seen the kids covered in roaches. He didn't have no relationship with Allie, he says, whatsoever. Just that one night stand.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to lie about something, man, it would have been it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which one would you lie about, Candace or Allie?
Both.
Yeah.
Been off grid, dealing with mental issues when they asked where he'd been. He's apparently divorce got him all messed up, and he's been struggling with it for a while. He never mentions any substance abuse issues or anything like that, so it makes you wonder. Said he's always fought for others, never for himself. A lot of this was like, it sounded like you were listening to a speech, wasn't it? And people were eating it up in that chat, boy. He says there's no success without failure. I'm telling you, he got inspirational at points, and it seemed like it was just putting it on too thick to me. I tell y'all what I think, man. I mean, maybe y'all see something different than I do. Let me know. Comment below. Said Andrew is a manipulator and liar, but a pretty good guy.
Those are two bad characters.
Andrew's a manipulator and a liar, but he's a pretty good dude.
That's awful, too. Bad. Work.
That's what he did throughout this. Everybody, it's like...
He justifies and he says something bad about it.
I think he was trying to be life coach or something. Yeah. He was breaking them down, then building them back up.
Yeah.
That's the way he worked. Then they give the trigger warning, and then this is when the upset news comes out about H and Candace. And he says Allie would have hurt Candace. Why didn't she? You know she had to have known before Jose's interview. And if she didn't, she knows now for sure, according to Jose. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they took a pee break. And ICU started to ask questions. She asked about CPS involvement. Very good question. ICU, I don't know this channel that well. I think she was doing it with Justice for All. Said CPS had come before Jose had actually been there, before he got there. But Candace had locked the doors and played not at home on them and got rid of them.
Yeah, I think I heard that number else.
Talks about Don being sexist again.
Of course.
Says Don has power over Candace. His opinion is not abducted, believes something happened. She passed and they hit her. He thinks it was an accident. Everybody got scared and hit her. That's what he says. He said he just believes if the story would have went the way Candace told it, Summer would have been screaming her ass off and somebody would have heard something.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he said it was possibly somebody she knew, then he didn't know. He said what started the fight between Candace and Allie was that he was being emotionally there for Candace and Allie got mad.
Yeah, Jose, you gotta share.
I'm sorry. I'm going to call bullshit.
Share. I don't
Jose.
see.
I call bullshit, Jose. If you slept with Allie, you slept with Candace.
Probably.
It ain't funny, but
If you get drunk and sleep with Allie, you probably get drunk and sleep with Candace.
yeah.
True.
True or false?
True, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. So I call you bullshit. Jose even talked about, as far as the truck with the ladder racks, that there was a flag on the back of that ladder, or there wasn't, and he was getting on to Dawn about it. Keep your home ladders if they hang over more than 8 feet without an orange flag.
Oh, wow. Got it.
Got it, Dawn? Get you a flag or don't be on the main road. It was so weird, the where he went with different stuff. He said the FBI questioning didn't raise a lot of suspiciousness. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I cannot believe the FBI comes to your house and asks you a bunch of shit and you don't think, wonder what that was all about.
Right.
But that was the majority of it. It lasted for hours. I mentioned 99%, I believe. So
yeah,
we're batting a pretty good average.
we went over the main parts.